and gentlemen, my friends, welcome aboard. My name is Sam. I'll be your safari guide out here on the Harambe Wildlife Preserve this afternoon. Hope everyone's day is off to a fantastic start so far.
Yes!
Good to hear, friends. Good to hear. Good to hear. Before we head out the door, they have some rather boring safety announcements we got to go over before we head into the reserve today. And if you follow both of them, we should have a great time out there. Number one, friends, make sure you stay seated at all times with your hands on your feet and legs inside the truck. And number two, make sure you don't make any loud noises towards these animals, such as kissing, cooing, whistling, or imitating their calls. There we go. Pretty simple, friends. Above your heads, you're going to find an animal spotting guide, which you can use to help find many different animals we're going to see out here on our safari journey this afternoon. Now, we typically won't see every single animal on that spotting guide every single safari due to different migration patterns across our reserve. But usually, friends, we have some really great luck with animals like that okapi over here on our right-hand side. Now, a lot of folks think the okapi is related to the zebra because of the stripes on the back of its legs. But it's actually one of the closest relatives we know of to the giraffe. Very similar facial structure, particularly in their ears. But the dead giveaway of the familiarization comes from their tongues. Both okapi and giraffe possess long purple tongues. Both animals are actually going to use to help forage for leaves in their environment. That bird you're going to see right over here, the white and black feathers, is a saddle-billed stork. Gets its name because it's sort of yellow saddle on top of its orange and black bill. You can actually tell the sex of a saddle-billed stork based on its eye color. If that saddle-billed stork has brown eyes, it is male. Bright yellow eyes are female. And they are fairly tall birds, as you might notice. They actually stand about 5 feet tall on their stamps. It's sort of their full height. Right on the corner around here, friends, pass by a watering hole where we can sometimes catch a glimpse of a rather elusive animal around here. That being the black rhinoceros. Oh, and it looks like just beyond this second mud wall, friends, you're going to get a good view of one right over here. Right over their pointed upper lips, there's like an use to pull and leave some bits of foliage into their mouths. Those are the two horns on top of their head, which they can use to, made out of keratin. A same material that makes up our fingernails and hair in humans. It actually gives the rhino the ability to file its horns down, or rub them up against hard surfaces like rocks or mud walls. Works much the same way, of course, we would file our fingernails in. Now, a lot of these vertical stalks of brush around us are a lot of the camouflage for antelopes tend to work the best. Typically, their pattern is going to be a lighter colored vertical stripe up against a slightly darker colored coat, which in combination, particularly once the sun sets out here, it's near impossible to differentiate between the brush and the antelope to the naked eye. You're going to find a few of them over here, friends. There's some bongos over here at the top of the hill. Everyone's in sort of reddish, orangish coats. The white tan antelope are the greater kudu. While both male and female bongos are going to have horns on top of their head, that's not true of the greater kudu, friends. They're just the males of the species that are going to have horns. So all three you saw over there are indeed female. Climbing uphill now, we're going to make our way towards the Safi River. The Safi River, as y'all might guess, is home to animals that like to frequent the water. The most notable one we can find at this time of day is usually the Nile crocodile. So keep your eyes peeled for any crocs and any other animals we can find out here on the water this afternoon, like that Nile hippopotamus over here on our right side. Y'all are very, very lucky, friends. Hippos usually spend the vast majority of their day in the water. They can hold their breath up to 8 minutes at a time, and their bodies are automatically going to surface from the water every 8 minutes as they sleep underneath it. So there's not much point to leave the watering hole, except, as you can see, for food. That's typically done at night, though. They'll travel up to 6 miles away from their watering holes during the evening to go find that food. They generally eat about 85 to 90 pounds of vegetation each night. Now, the birds you see up here on the log to our left-hand side with the white and gray feathers are the pink-backed pelicans. Pink-backed pelicans get their name from the very faint pink coloration you can find in between the wings on their back. Very, very hard to see, friends, outside of their mating season. That pink coloration is going to be the most prominent. But you can usually see if they spread their wingspan out nice and wide due to how wide their wingspan is. It's about 7 to 9 feet across, end to end, which is about as wide at its widest point as the canopy above your heads for reference. Now, when you see hippos like this travel through the water, friends, they're not actually technically swimming. They're a bit too heavy to float properly to do that, weighing about 5,500 pounds on average. So when you see that one, like that one's doing, moving through the water, they actually have to physically walk along the riverbed underneath to get from place to place. And round in the corner, friends, keep your eyes peeled on the left-hand side, particularly just beyond the waterfall over here, right where our friends and all those ponchos are staring down. Because you're going to find an alcove of those Nile crocodiles to our left-hand side. Now those beauties can reach lengths of about 16 feet long when they're fully grown and weights of around 500 pounds. They eat about half that body weight in a single meal as well, over 250 pounds worth. Which are nice sweet friends if they eat a meal that large, they're not going to eat for an entire week after the fact. And as we exit the Safi River, we're going to be slowly climbing our way uphill now towards the savannah of our reserve. The journey we take is actually very similar to one the animators from The Lion King took over 25 years ago when they were looking for inspiration for their film. Now, of course, they drew inspiration, friends, from the various sights and sounds. So, of course, the animals they found out there on their safari journeys. So we'll head on out there in just a few moments, see what sort of inspiration can find us today. Around the corner a little bit, you're going to spot a sort of funky looking tree over here on our right side. This is a baobab tree, friends. Baobabs are nicknamed the upside down tree for where their branches look like a root system of a tree is structured. There are a few more baobabs out here. I'll try to point them out if I get the chance. For now, though, just take in one of the best views we have of our entire reserve. On top of this hill, that's Savannah overlook. And Savannah, as you'll soon see, is a very diverse ecosystem filled with a wide variety of animals. Many different species of antelope, giraffe, and big cats all call it home. So you never quite know who we're going to see any given day out here. But certainly keep your eyes peeled, friends. All these animals like to keep us on our toe. They're liable to pop up anywhere and everywhere around us as we're traveling through. Not too much in our initial vicinity, friends, as we get down to the bottom of the hill. We are going to start to find some Ankoli cattle over here on our right-hand side. These are the cattle known for their huge horns on top of their head. Those horns are about 3 to 4 feet long individually. They can be as wide as 6 feet across tip to tip, depending on how they grow out as well. They have distinction to be the only domesticated animal you're going to find on our reserve. They're sometimes actually called by the name Watusi cattle, after the tribe that first domesticated them. They're still domesticated to this day because they're seen as a sign of wealth in some African cultures. At night, you'll typically see them returning home to their owner's houses if they are domesticated. They'll stay outside the house in a pen called a boma. To our left side in the carnivore's den is my favorite animal on the entire reserve, the African painted dog. Now, I like them a lot because they may look as cute and cuddly as some of our best friends back at home, but they're actually extremely adept predators. Their hunting success rate hovers around 90% because they're so great at pack hunting together. Each pack's up an alpha male and alpha female dog in each pack. There are only 2 dogs that are going to mate. Every dog has a unique coat pattern to them, which researchers do believe helps them coordinate when they're pack hunting a little bit as well. Sneaking around the corner here, you're going to find some sable antelope over here on our left-hand side. They're the antelope known for the big bowed horns on top of their head. Those bowed horns give them the ability to throw predators off their back. Make one of the few antelopes in the world that will usually choose to fight rather than to run away when they're targeted by those predators. That's exactly why we chose them to be the emblem of our reserve, friends. We'd much rather fight conservation issues head on out here rather than run away from them. So the sable antelope seemed like a great choice back when the reserve was founded in 1971 to sort of emphasize that. As we're traveling through here, I start to notice some funky looking dirt mounds around us. These are all termite mounds actually. They're made up of dirt, dung, and saliva from those termites. Now, the tallest towers around here are often great scratching posts for many animals, particularly the Maasai giraffe. A worn down mound like the one over here on our right side, friends, makes an excellent place for antelope like the wildebeest to use as a bit of a lookout post during the evening. Actually, if you look to our left side, you're going to see 2 different species of antelope over there. Towards the top of the hill are going to be some Patterson's eland. They're the largest species of antelope on our reserve. The male one's the one with the spiraled horns, and both male and female elands, have spiraled horns, but the male one's going to have a little bit darker gray coat compared to the lighter tan of the female. And the male eland is the one that holds the heavyweight title, though. He can reach weights of up to 2,000 pounds when he's fully grown like that one is. And he stands at about 6 feet tall at the shoulders as well. Wildebeest, meanwhile, to our right and left side, are migratory animals that travel about 500 to 1,000 miles every single year during their migration period. During those migrations, their travel groups can actually swell to quite huge numbers, as large as 1.5 million wildebeest per herd, making them the second most densely populated animal in the world during that time, behind us humans. The name wildebeest comes from the language Afrikaans, which is the Afrikaans English are known as the wild beast. So they're also known around here by their name in Swahili, the new, G-N-U, new. That's a sort of phonetic name. It sounds very similar to what their grunt sounds like. Off in the distance here, you're going to find some springbok over here. They're my favorite antelope on the reserve. They're standing about 3 feet tall, but they are exceptionally athletic. They can jump more than 6 feet in the air from a standing position, or up to 13 feet forward in a single bound when running. They're also the national animal for the country of South Africa, which makes them a great mascot for many South African national teams in the sporting world. Most notably, friends, the men's rugby team in South Africa, current world champions of the 2019 World Cup, are actually nicknamed the Springboks. Over on our left side here, I'm going to start to find some Maasai giraffe over here, friends. They are the tallest land mammals in the world. They can reach heights of 19 to 20 feet if they're male, 15 to 16 feet if they're female. Even the babies are huge, at a whopping 6 feet tall when they're first born. Looks like a lot of them over their friends are engaged in their favorite pastime, which is eating. Giraffe will eat about 16 to 20 hours each day, which is certainly a lifestyle I wish I could maintain, my friends. They have an 18-inch long tongue they can use to fully wrap around a lot of the branches of the trees and bushes out here to pull those branches off of the tree entirely. And those baby giraffe you saw back there, they had a bit of a rude awakening to the world, if you ask me. When they're first born, they have to drop about 6 feet to the ground from their moms. But Hakuna Matata, my friends, no worries. They are usually up and walking within the first hour after they're born. Now passing through this gate, friends, just past this fallen tree, you are going to be able to start to find some larger animals out here on the reserve by this water. Now, it's a bit hit or miss for us, friends. A lot of it will depend on our luck any given safari. Keep your eyes peeled on both sides of the track. There's probably some animals over here on our right, but we'll get a little bit closer view in a minute. Over on our left, though, are going to be the largest monkeys in the world, the mandrills. Mandrills are known for the bright blue and red stripes on the male mandrill's face. If you see one without stripes, that is a female mandrill. Female mandrills are about twice the size of females at 55 pounds, and the coloration on the face will actually turn darker as they express emotion, much like the way us humans blush. Over on our right side, friends, here, we're going to start to spot some of those African elephants I referenced earlier, so we get a little bit better view up here. They can reach weights of up to 12,000 pounds when they're fully grown. Well, they're best known for their trunks and their tusks, friends. African elephants can often flap their ears up and down using the blood vessels needed to lower their body temperature. When they flap their ears up and down, friends, they can lower their body temperature by as much as 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the road closure, friends, means we are going to take a little bit of a detour around the corner here. And while this bridge has certainly seen its better days, it's never personally steered me wrong before, friends, so we should be fine. Ah, yes, friends, perfectly fine. And underneath this railroad track, friends, looks like we're going to head through some clay pits on our detour, where it looks like we're not getting visitors come by recently. Over on our right side, you're going to find some elephant tusk marks up against that clay. Elephants like to rub their tusk up against clay to get minerals so their tusks, their diets don't otherwise provide. It's a great way to make sure their tusks can stay nice and strong. One other thing we learned about elephants over the years through studying them out here on the reserve, so they're actually very, very afraid of bees. Now, that's a bit of a strange fear for elephants. Now, fear of bees. It manifests itself in interesting ways. For instance, a natural instinct we've learned to stay away from beehives if you're those trunks getting swollen up through those bee stings. That's an instinct farmers can actually use to their conservation advantage out here in Africa. They can prevent elephant stampedes actually by installing bees on the fences outside of their farms. That's much better than their old solution friends of trying to hunt down the local elephant herds when those stampedes occur. It's much more proactive, a lot less work for the farmers, and it protects the elephants in the process. It's really a nice win-win for all parties involved. Up and around the corner, friends, you're going to start to find a flamboyance of greater flamingos over here on our left-hand side. Greater flamingos are the largest and the lightest pink of all flamingo species, but like all flamingos, their pink coloration is going to come from what they eat. Flamingos eat a diet consisting mostly of brine shrimp. And brine shrimp have a chemical in the name beta-carotene that when those flamingos ingest it, it's actually what dyes their feathers that brilliant pink color you see to our left-hand side. Passing through this gate over here, friends, we're now going to be entering into the eastern half of our savanna. Eastern half is a little bit different than that of the west. Sometimes we can find some different types of animals around here than we saw over, like the white rhinoceros you can see over here on our left side. White rhinos are known for their wide mouths, which they can use to graze out here in Spain. That's actually what they're designed for. That's how they got their name industry. They were called the White rhinoceros. That is W-I-T, white. That means wide in Afrikaans. But, of course, those English speakers mistranslated it to the white rhinoceros, which is a name that they've been known by ever since. So in fact, as you can see, they're gray, not white. On the right side there, you're going to find 2 ostriches over here. They're the largest bird species in the world. While they are flightless, their wings do serve a purpose for the bird. They'll help them change direction when they're spinning at speeds of up to 40 miles an hour. Now, white rhino has very good senses of smell and very good senses of hearing, friends. However, their eyesight's not the best. If an object's not moving and it's more than 10 feet away from it, it will not know it's there.
Oh, he's walking there.
Now, sneaking around the corner, friends, over here on our west side, you are going to see a cheetah over here in the hills in the forest. Cheetahs are the fastest, 2 cheetahs actually. Cheetahs are the fastest land mammals in the world. They can reach speeds of up to 70 miles an hour when they reach their full sprint, making starting from 0 to 60 miles an hour in about 3 seconds time. They are, interestingly enough, a diurnal hunter, however. That means they're active during the daytime rather than during the night like most other big cats. Cheetahs are this way because they're a lot smaller than those other cats. While that slight build does help them reach their top end speeds quicker and faster, it's not so helpful if they were to need to get in a fight for territory or prey during the evening. So cheetahs are pretty resourceful, though. They figured out that if they just hunt during the daytime, they can avoid some of that competition during the night altogether. So they hunt during the daytime, actually have black stripes underneath their eyes, help stop the sun from glaring in their eyes as they're hunting during the day. But that does leave the night as a domain for some of the larger cats out here in Spain, probably most notably the lion. Oh, and speaking of a lion, friends, you're going to find one right over here on this Kopi rock formation. That's a male lion, of course, friends. His job is to protect the pride's territory or the cubs if they happen to have any. While the lionesses in the pride, they are the pack hunters, or together to make sure the pride's got enough food each and every evening. Maybe reason that male lion doesn't know about the hunting so much is his mane. Actually weighs about 40 pounds on top of his head. So it has a tendency to get in the way a little bit if you were to try to hunt. There's a lioness right over here on top of the rock over here. One reason lionesses and other lions like to be active during the night is the night vision they've adapted over many, many centuries. During the day, they see about as well as us humans do. But at night, a lion's vision is about 6 times as strong as ours. So, you know, you have some ostriches and some white rhinos over here on our right side. As well as a water buck. Water buck's that shaggy antelope in the back corner over there. They're known for their affinity for finding sources of water here. It's actually how they got their name. As well as their heart-shaped noses, usually their physical signifier out here outside of their shaggy coats. Now, as you can see with this one closest to us, lions are pretty restful creatures. They do sleep or rest about 16 to 20 hours each day. So you're pretty lucky to see so many of them so active at this time of day. Usually they don't start becoming really active until right around sundown at 5:30 this time of year. Sneaking around the corner now, gotta see if we can find any animals over here in the burrows coming up on our left side. Often burrows are a great indicator of warthogs out here, and if you look towards the far one, towards my end of the truck as we sneak by, you're gonna find a couple of them right down here. 3 of them actually. And for the big curved upper tusks they have, which I can use to dig out the dirt you see in that burrows. The sharp ones on their lower lips, though, are the ones we're gonna use to fight off something if the need should arise. They're another animal that loves to wallow in mud. They do so because it helps them cool down out here during the day. They lack sweat glands to cool down on their oats, so mud's often absolutely essential for their survival. You're gonna find some more rhinos and ostriches over here, so some more water buck in the back. Underneath the tree over here, though, you are gonna find some ostrich eggs, the largest bird eggs in the world. Each one of them individually does weigh about 3 pounds, friends, so they are exceptionally strong. A fully grown adult human man can stand on top of any one of those eggs, and they will not break. Around in this corner, friends, we're about to sadly enter into the final stop of our safari today, which will be the springs of Magadi Glen. Now, this is a great area to find rare species of antelope on occasion. A lot of it will depend on our luck in a given safari. If you'd like to visit here for the luscious green grass as well as the spring water, helps that grass thrive in this part of the reserve. But for whatever reason, friends, it is mostly rare species of antelope that like to travel through here. So sometimes our luck can start to run just a little bit dry as we're traveling through. So keep your eyes peeled, particularly towards the woods around us. If they're not out here in the open, they do often like to hang out in the woods. Like this one over on our right side. That's a scimitar horned oryx over there, friends. Named for the big curved horns on top of its head. They're curved like the relation toward the scimitar. This is an antelope native to the deserts of Africa. Because it's from the desert, many different adaptations help with living in such a harsh environment. Most notably, friends, the antelope can actually go up to 9 months without taking a drink of water, if need be. And passing through this gate, now we are going to be making our way back towards the village. As we do so, it's my sincere hope you all got just a glimpse today of some of the conservation efforts on this reserve have helped many of the animals we've seen this afternoon. Sadly though, there is a lot more work that needs to be done around the world when it comes to these conservation efforts. But the good news is, friends, that there is something you can do right here in the village to help out. You stop by Andy's shop in the village, they will allow you to round your purchase up to the nearest dollar. Donate to the Disney Conservation Fund, which helps support conservation initiatives around the entire world. And the one reserve is very similar to the one y'all have visited today. And passing through this finale water here, friends, I have officially made it all the way back to the end of the village. Edge of the village, I should say. So now's a good time to make sure you got all those personal belongings you brought with you onto the truck this afternoon. They have a tendency to shift around some underneath your feet, so make sure you don't leave anything behind when we get back to the docks in just a few moments. If I happen to have any Wilderness Explorers on board, the name of this truck is the Simba 1. Simba 1, S-I-M-B-A-1. That'll be the code word y'all will need to pick up your badge for riding with us today. Just stop by the umbrella right outside the very front of our attraction entrance to find someone there to assist you with picking up.